Coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And guess what we have here? Two Jefferson nickels from 1982. We have the D or Denver Mint on the right and the P or Philadelphia Mint on the left. And as some of you might have seen in the coin books, specifically the U.S. Coin Digest and some of the online U.S. Coin valuation services, these are very valuable nickels. Some of them at MS65 go for $15 or $16. And that's kind of interesting because it's like, why would they go for so much money? Well, there's a couple reasons, but the first reason is, of course, that in 1982 the U.S. Mint kind of took a couple years off from making some of the mint uncirculated sets. And so it's much harder to get these in really good quality condition. And the other is that they didn't make as many in 1982. They only made, and I say only, which because it sounds like a lot, they only made 373 million Ds and a little under 300 million Ps, which was significantly down from the years before that. So what do we got here? Well, it's a Jefferson nickel. They first started making these in 1932. It says, "In God We Trust," in front of Jefferson. It says Liberty, 1982 here. And then way down here, we can see the P for the Philadelphia Mint. You can see how these kind of get smushed a little bit right behind Jefferson's, let's call it a ponytail. There is an FS here, and we're going to talk about that. If we flip it over, we see that it says E pluribus unum, it says Monticello, says 5 cents, and United States of America on the bottom here. So this is a 5-cent coin. We call it a U.S. nickel because it is made of nickel, and it's a copper-nickel blend actually, but we call it a nickel. In the United States, many people do, certainly some of the older people. And there's Monticello there. And the way that you can tell the value of these is to look at Monticello. And this one here, you can see this is a D. This is not a bad D when you get right down to it. It's a little smushed back here, but it's pretty good. In the 82, it's great. We get the star here between the Liberty and the year. If we look here, same In God We Trust. Same FS here, a little harder to read. And then if we get to the back, we see that this, of course, is Monticello again. So the same reverse on both of them. There's no difference in the reverse on the D or the P. Now, I said I'd talk a little bit about the FS. And there's two different things that come from an FS. The first is that when coin rating services rate nickels, they look at the steps on the back of Monticello and see how many you can see. And it turns out that there should be 5 steps there. You can see in this particular one, we can see a couple steps, but there should be 5. What they do is they break it into 5 sections going across, and they look at each section and see how many steps you can see. And this one, this would be very low rated. I think you can see 2 steps, maybe in some spot you can see 3, and of course you got this scratch. And that's how you would rate this. If you have all of your steps, it's called a full steps version. Let's see if we have any that have all the steps. And we don't, you're not going to find, from 1982, if you find them in your change, you're not going to find any that have any of the steps probably, right? So when you're looking, if you ever see any of these that have all their steps and look really good, make sure you count and see if it's got the 5 steps. Now, when I say full steps version, those are the ones that go for $14 or $15 each. That's the highest price for any circulating nickel since 1962. So if you get an MS65 full steps version, it could be worth as much as $30 for the 1982 P or D, or it could, if it's MS65, it could certainly be worth $14 or $15. Now, I said FS means full steps. Some people get that a little confused because when we look down underneath Jefferson, we see an FS. And let's get a better version of that right here. That's not the FS that they're talking about. This stands for Felix Schlag. Felix Schlag is the man who engraved these coins. SCHLAG. Felix Schlag engraved these. The first engraving, of course, on a coin came out in 1932. So these would be kind of double FSs. They would have an FS for Felix Schlag on the front, and then if they had full steps on the back, they would be FS rated by the coin rating agencies. Is it worth taking your coins to get them rated? Unless it's really, really good condition, it's not, because it might cost you $6, $8, maybe even $10 to get them rated. And if it's a $14 coin, you may or may not want to do that. If you're going to keep it for your collection and it's worth that to you, then that would be the way to do it. Or if you have a bunch of coins going in, then by all means get them rated. Now, these coins, like I said, they made about 2/3 of a million between the two of them. They have a smooth edge, and all U.S. nickels have a smooth edge. You won't see the milled rim at all on any of these. And you can see that these ones, you can still find these in your change all the time. So go out and look. Every time you get a nickel, look, because the nickels are sometimes much older than any other coins. They seem to wear better in the sense that they stay together better than the dimes or the quarters or the pennies. Maybe not better than the $half, because $half nobody uses them. But that's all we have today from DC Coinwell International Coin Channel. Go out and get some change and look through it. Look through your coins that you have and see if you have any 1982 coins. And if you do have them, flip them over on the back and see if you've got any steps there, because that's what makes this year valuable. Have a great day from DC Coinwell International Coin Channel.